Good morning, good people. This is your PooleProof Wisdom Moment. I have a pet peeve I'd like to discuss this morning. Now, I know you probably are thinking, what is that going to be? I mean, let's face it, we all know I'm a bit eccentric, and we all know that I'm also king of the germaphobes. And when you add those two things together, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that I'd probably have millions upon millions of these things. But the fact is, I really only have a few pet peeves, and those pet peeves are very, very simple and straightforward. The one that tops the list, however, is the act of generalization. It's something everyone does so easily. And when I'm talking about generalization, I'm taking an opportunity to talk about those things where any group of people who shares a singular characteristic is then thought of as sharing all characteristics in terms of behavior, thoughts, and ideas. And it's simply not true. To illustrate it, I have grown up all my life hearing a whole lot of women say about men, all men are dogs. I've also heard a lot of men say a whole lot of things about all women are this or that, some of them unsavory phrases that I'm not going to repeat here. I've also encountered people who are looking at the color of my skin and literally will ask, and they're being very earnest when they do so. So, Charles, can you tell me, what does the African American community think about this issue or that issue? And I widen my eyes and I say, I don't know. You'll have to ask all of them. But that's how simple it's become. And when you think about it, in every category that you can possibly look at, because we are a diverse world filled with people who are different in many, many ways. But when we want to simplify their experience down to one characteristic that's shared with other people, like themselves, we are doing a disservice not only to them, so obviously so, but we're doing a disservice to ourselves by not taking the time to get to know and experience what that individual can bring to the table. Now, granted, some of who they are and how they think will likely be influenced by that shared characteristic, but no group of people is so monolithic that you can specifically say that anytime you come across one person who is part of that group, that they think like everyone in that group, or you can expect the same thing from them as you would anyone in that group. And it's one of those things that we simply don't think about before the words come out of our mouths soon enough. And we've got to start thinking more in line with, wait a minute, before I ask that question, is that even possible for them to know? Is that even right of me to say? Because I don't know everybody, and I'm sure this person doesn't as well. And when we do that, think about the opportunity you create for a real discourse, for a real chance to get to know an individual on his or her terms. This is the world that we are seeking to create, one with more understanding, not one with more generalization. So stop that. Don't do it. Keep yourself from being part of the problem by realizing the opportunity in this instance, not to generalize, you have to be part of the solution. And that's your PooleProof Wisdom Moment for today. Find me on Spotify, on Anchor.fm, Apple and Google Podcasts, and of course, podcast platforms everywhere.